Imagine a single soldier holding back an entire army. Not in a movie, but in the brutal, freezing reality of war. This is the story of Simo Häyhä, a name that struck terror into the hearts of his enemies, a man they called the White Death. Our story begins in 1939, on the frosty border between Finland and the Soviet Union. The massive Red Army invades, kicking off what would be known as the Winter War. The Finns are outnumbered, outgunned, and facing a military superpower. But they had something the Soviets didn't count on. A quiet, unassuming farmer named Simo Häyhä. Before the war, Simo lived a simple life. He was a farmer and a hunter, spending his days in the vast Finnish forests, honing his marksmanship skills not for war, but for sport and survival. He was a champion shooter, his home filled with trophies. But when his country called, he answered, bringing his incredible skills from the hunting grounds to the battlefield. He wasn't a product of some elite military academy. He was a man defending his home, and that made him more dangerous than any soldier the Soviets had ever faced. He was assigned to the Kola River, a critical front line. The conditions were unimaginable. Temperatures plummeted to -40 degrees Celsius. It was a landscape of deep snow, frozen lakes, and dense forests. For most soldiers, this was a frozen hell. But for Simo Häyhä, it was his backyard. He knew these forests like the back of his hand, and he used this knowledge to become a ghost. Dressed in a simple, all-white camouflage suit, he would disappear into the snow-covered terrain for days on end, a phantom waiting for his prey. He carried only the bare essentials, a few days' worth of food, some sugar, and his trusted Sako M2830 rifle. And here's where his legend truly begins. This rifle had no modern telescopic scope. Think about that. The world's deadliest sniper chose to use only the basic iron sights. Why? The reasons were pure, cold-blooded genius. First, a telescopic scope could fog up or freeze in the extreme cold, rendering it useless. Second, and more importantly, the lens of a scope could reflect the winter sun, a tiny glint of light that would instantly give away his position to enemy snipers. By using iron sights, Simo eliminated that risk. It meant he had to get closer to his targets and rely solely on his own incredible eyesight. But for him, precision was everything. His approach was about minimizing his own weaknesses while maximizing the enemy's. His tactics were just as brilliant. He would often shoot from a sitting position, which offered a stable base. He depacked dense snow in front of his position to act as a natural cushion for his rifle, which not only stabilized his aim, but also prevented the muzzle blast from kicking up a cloud of snow that would reveal his location. He even thought about his own breath. In the freezing air, the steam from a soldier's breath is a visible plume, a dead giveaway. Simo's solution? He would keep a small pile of snow in his mouth. The snow would cool his breath before it left his lips, making it invisible. Every detail was calculated for survival and lethality. The results were staggering. In the span of just 100 days, Simo Häyhä achieved an official count of 505 confirmed sniper kills. That's an average of over 5 kills per day. And that number only includes his sniper kills. He was also a master with a Suomi KP-31 submachine gun, and it's estimated he took down another 200 soldiers in close-quarters combat, bringing his total kill count to over 700. He became a one-man army, a force of nature that the Red Army simply could not stop. The Soviet soldiers grew to fear the unseen enemy in the snow. They didn't know his name. They only knew him by the chilling moniker they gave him, the White Death. The name spread like wildfire through the Soviet ranks. They sent their own snipers to hunt him, teams of them. Simo hunted them back and won. They tried carpet bombing his suspected positions with artillery. They would pound the forest with thousands of shells, turning the pristine snow into a grated, blackened mess. But when the smoke cleared, the White Death would emerge and continue his work. The Soviet command became obsessed with eliminating this single, ghostly soldier. The psychological impact he was having was immense. Morale was plummeting. Soldiers were terrified to even peek out of their trenches. How could they fight an enemy they couldn't see? An enemy who seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. He wasn't just killing soldiers. He was dismantling their will to fight. But on March 6, 1940, Simo's luck seemed to run out. During a fierce assault, a Soviet soldier fired at him from a distance. The bullet was an explosive round, a devastating projectile designed to inflict maximum damage. It struck Simo in the lower left side of his jaw. The impact was catastrophic. It shattered his jawbone and blew off his left cheek. He was found by his fellow soldiers unconscious, face down in the snow, presumed dead. His commander, upon seeing him, grimly noted that half his head was missing. But Simo Häyhä was not an ordinary man. He was taken to a field hospital, still clinging to life. Against all odds, he survived. He regained consciousness on March 13th, the very day the Winter War ended. Finland, despite its fierce resistance, was forced to cede territory to the Soviets, but they had maintained their sovereignty, a victory in itself, thanks in no small part to heroes like Simo. His recovery was long and painful. He underwent 26 surgeries to reconstruct his jaw. The explosive bullet had left him permanently disfigured, but it hadn't broken his spirit. He even tried to volunteer for service again during the continuation war a few years later, but he was turned down due to the severity of his injuries. After the wars, Simo Häyhä returned to the quiet life he had left behind. He became a successful moose hunter and a dog breeder. He was a national hero, but he never boasted about his wartime accomplishments. When asked late in his life if he felt any remorse, his answer was simple and direct. I did what I was told to do, as well as I could. He saw it not as murder, but as his duty to protect his home. He lived a long life, passing away in 2002 at the age of 96. The story of Simo Häyhä is more than just a tally of kills. It's a testament to incredible skill, resilience, and the sheer power of an individual defending their homeland. He wasn't a super soldier from a comic book. He was a farmer who used his deep knowledge of his environment and his unparalleled marksmanship to become a legend. The White Death remains the deadliest sniper in recorded history. A quiet man who became a ghost in the snow, a symbol of Finnish grit and defiance against impossible odds. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing tales from history. We'll see you in the next one.